evening. And I'll zoom right in this second so we can see exactly where it's located. Lots of lightning strikes over this area. And I'm going to pull out, of course, one of our tracking tools to see what exactly communities are being affected. So let's do that real quick. Move it out to 35 miles per hour because that's the speed of the storm. So if you are in any of the communities, including Darlington, Port Deposit, Rising Sun, Oxford, you are in, of course, the path of that storm that continues to move on through Darlington. You have about 10 minutes, of course. You'd see those times that are starting to move down a bit. Oxford, 34 minutes. New London, you're about at 30 minutes. So that's starting to move through, and it will move over into Pennsylvania as well. So once it starts to move over into Pennsylvania, then we will drop into whatever we're breaking into on air. I'm going to go back and remove this tag over so we can see exactly what we're looking at. Again, this is for portions of northern Hartford County and Cecil County. So if you know anyone in the Plysville community or in Delta, that's where we are seeing the strongest winds of this storm. And we can continue to see that storm churn right now. I'm going to turn on the velocity products. That's what we see when we're looking for rotation. You see the green off to the north. That means winds are moving towards the radar, and the red means they're moving away from the radar. You know, when we see them close together, we know the air is turning. So we could potentially be seeing maybe a funnel cloud. Right now, no reports on that, but if you do see any, feel free to send us a message for WMAR 2 News on Twitter or any social media forums, because we are looking to see what this storm is continuing to do. We did get, of course, we are noticing, a bit of tightening on the latest radar scan. That's from the National Weather Service, and we are seeing the storm moving through the Whiteford and Cardiff communities. So this warning will continue. Keep in mind, if you know anyone that lives in Whiteford or Cardiff, make sure they are going to their safe spot. Give them a call. If they aren't already in that spot, we want to make sure everyone's safe in the lowest floor of your home, not away from any windows or doors in case there is any debris. We don't want that flying into your house and potentially injuring you. Also, if you can, make sure you have on closed-toed shoes and a hard hat, because if there ends up being debris, we want to make sure after the storm that everyone's safe getting out. Of course, I'm going to zoom in once again to this community. We can see some of the roads and cities that are being impacted. If you know anyone, of course, near Delta, just to the south of Delta in Pennsylvania, maybe in the Cambria community, the Plysville, Artie Estates, Deer Park, Cooper, Day Meadows, Deerfield, Bald Hill, Castleton, Berkeley, Gladstone Acres, Poplar Grove, and even into Cecil County, Red Hill Acres, Oakwood, Rollinsville, portions of even West Rock Station. We want to make sure you guys are all in your safe spot because this storm is barreling through. A tornado warning has been issued by the National Weather Service until 8:30 this evening as we continue to see very strong winds moving over portions of Maryland. So keep in mind, if you know anyone in northern Cecil County, northeastern Cecil County, and portions of northern Hartford County, we want to make sure everyone is sitting in their safe spot. This is, of course, just to the west of Rising Sun. Rising Sun is not under the warning, but if you know people driving on Route 1, we want to make sure they are careful and in that safe spot. It is about to head over the river as well. So we could see, of course, some very strong winds moving over the river. Hopefully no one is out boating this late at night, but of course we do have the storm moving on. I am going to zoom back out again and reset so those that aren't necessarily in the path of the storm can see where the storm is moving to. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Cecil County, Hartford County, Baltimore County, Baltimore City, Anne Arundel County, portions of Howard County that will go until 8:30 this evening as the storm just continues to move through. We've seen wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour. At one point, that destructive tag was over portions of northern Baltimore County and Hartford County as the storm just continued to move back on through. Very heavy rainfall and frequent lightning with this storm as well. So that's something that we are watching for. And of course, you can see exactly where all that lightning is located. I'm going to zoom back into the storm, though. That is tornado warned. So those who live in those communities can see exactly what we're talking about. and what we're watching for. So as we zoom in, you can see the red polygon. I know it's hard to tell because there's red storms, very heavy rainfall being picked up on reflectivity over this area, but those who are in the Plysville community, Darlington, just to the west of Rising Sun, Highway Route 1. If you know anyone that's near that area or driving, make sure they are pulled off on the side of the road or in their safe area, because this storm is moving through with a vengeance. You can even see as we zoom in with our velocity track, that's what we talked about earlier. That's wind speed in the air. Of course, we know red means it's moving away from the radar. Green means towards. So once you kind of see it tightening like that and you get those bright colors, that can indicate very strong winds. So it's something that we will have to watch because, very strong winds moving into the communities. That tornado warning, though, does go until 8 o'clock in that community. I'm going to try one of our next products to see if we're picking up on any debris, and it looks like for now we are not. Things right now look to be pretty calm. Of course, it can change in an instant as the sky begins to tighten and those clouds really round out. That'll move over Darlington as we speak. So if you know anyone in the Darling community, maybe along State Highway 623, along, let me take a look at the other state highways, US Highway 1, across the river, the Susquehanna River Road, maybe State Highway 222. Make sure they are in their safe zone and careful because this storm is moving through. Earlier this year, we did have a tornado confirmed in Rising Sun. Unfortunately, it's just a pretty similar area where this is moving through, but we are also seeing big hail show up on radar. Nothing has been confirmed yet. There is no confirmed tornado yet, but there is a warning in play. So it means that we could be seeing a tornado at this moment, but nothing has yet been confirmed by the Weather Service. I'm going to take a look at what the Weather Service is saying at this moment and seeing if we are getting any indication of a tornado that has been observed. And I will let you know the moment that this tornado warning ends, I'll hop off your screen and you can go back to enjoying the rest of your Friday night, because I know there are lots of things going on, but we just want to make sure everyone in northern Maryland is safe because these storms are moving through and really packing a punch. But the latest report still indicates just a tornado warning for Cecil and Harford County that will go until 8:30 this evening, and it's moving at 15 miles per hour. So it's starting to move even at a slower speed than earlier. So keep that in mind. The storm, though, if it's starting to move slower, could mean that it's weakening, which we would love to see. We want to make sure that everyone is safe on this Friday evening. I'm going to check out some of our other products to see exactly what's going on with this storm. So hold tight for just 1 second. See, of course, on our velocity products, which are the wind speed, that they are starting to tighten. That wind's really starting to increase out there. And let's see if we could dive into some of the wind speeds that are showing up in this one community along US Highway 1. 35 mile per hour winds. Let's see just around Darlington, because we are seeing some pretty bright colors showing up, which could mean some very strong winds. 49 miles per hour just to the south of Darlington along Darlington Road. If you know anyone along Darlington Road near Wilson's Mill, even the Deer Creek Estates, make sure they are in their safe spot or pulled over to the side of the road. I'm sure at home all of the weather alerts are starting to go off, so you are hearing lots of loud noises. Of course, no need to panic. If you're in your safe spot and you can hear me right now, just know that you are doing exactly what you need to do in this moment. Of course, be in that safe spot, make sure you can hear weather alerts, and we are taking a look at one of our MDOT cams. This is 22 at Shucks Road, 22 West, where we can continue to see a lot of that heavy rainfall. Some cars are moving around. That's not what we want to see. We want to see people moved over to the side of the road. If you know anyone driving in that community, tell them to pull over. Look, lightning strikes also. We've seen some pretty frequent lightning. There's another one showing up as we speak. Very frequent lightning across most of central Maryland. And again, we are seeing very strong winds with this system. Of course, let me zoom back out a bit so we can reset on the system. And I will turn it back to reflectivity. That's the speed of the storm, and also just, of course, how hard it is raining out there. We are getting some reports still that the tornado warning is being continued from the National Weather Service for Cecil and Harford County until 8:30. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Delta or 11 miles northwest of Havre de Grace, moving at 25 miles per hour. So it's picked up a little bit more speed. I'll go in just a second so we can see exactly just how far the storm has moved and also the communities. We do still have a severe thunderstorm warning for Cecil County. That'll go until later this evening. That'll go until 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock for that one. Also for Baltimore City, Baltimore County, that one likely just until 8:45. So keep that in mind. We are seeing some pretty strong storms move through. We also got a report from the National Weather Service. This is not related to the tornado warning, but we're getting reports of trees and wires blown down in central Howard County along Carroll Mill Road near Folly Quarter Road, where trees fell on wires, cracking up holes. So if you are driving anywhere this evening, make sure you are safe and careful. Pull over to the side of the road if you need to. If you're in that tornado warning, don't be driving at all, because we know that strong winds can pick up a car, and we don't want anyone to be in the path of danger. We're taking a look now at another one of our Maryland cameras. This is US 1 at Conowingo, US 1 North. You can see the flashing lights of the, of course, the traffic lights are flashing. Those cars are out there moving. They should be off to the side because this is where the storm is barreling through. We want to make sure everyone's safe, but very heavy rain. Look at some of that frequent lightning out there. I know it's hard to tell, but some of those trees are slightly moving out there. But we want to make sure everyone's safe at home because these storms are continuing to just barrel on through. Back to graphics we go, and I'm going to zoom back in closer to that tornado warning on the map. I might even turn off lightning. It might be better to see. I'm going to turn off the lightning, even though we're seeing pretty frequent lightning moving across the system. And still, if you are in the Darlington community, right along the river, that's where the strongest of the storm is located, right along US Highway 1, moving near Rising Sun. Still to the west of Rising Sun, but that could change in an instant as the storm continues to move. I'm going to take a look at velocity. That's, of course, wind speed. We know I keep saying this, but I'm going to keep saying it again for those who might be joining us. Red means away from the radar, green means towards. So when we see that kind of closeness together on the radar, that's how we know that that storm is churning and turning. And I will say this latest scan looks like it's churning and turning a little bit less, which is good. And I'm going to zoom in to see just what some of the wind speeds are that are showing up near Darlington, because very strong winds are moving in, if not a tornado that could potentially be on the ground. Still no ground confirmation from the Weather Service yet. If you are seeing any storms that are moving through, and maybe you have some photos, if you can take any safely or that are not in that community, or if it's passed through, feel free to show us and let us know. I'm going to move, of course, that wind speed out of the way because it looks like it's picking up data, so we're not necessarily seeing anything. I know it's not zero. That storm's moving through and it's pretty strong. Let's zoom back in again. Maybe kind of breaking up. It's just one of those radar scans, unfortunately, where you're not seeing a whole lot of action, which is not what we want to see when we have a tornado warning. It does look like our Barron button product, which usually shows hail in rotation, isn't showing as much action, which is good that it had earlier, but of course we are kind of hitting a spot where it's moving farther away from the radar, so it's harder to see. I'm going to next turn on one of our debris trackers, which this is our debris tracking product that we can see on radar. Usually when you start to see those very bright colors, including blue, that usually means that debris is lofted into the air, whether it be trees or other household items. But we are still seeing pretty red colors, which is good. That means that we are not seeing any debris lofted into the air yet. We do have a tornado warning for northern Harford County and Cecil County until 8:30 this evening. And of course, I'm going to check back with the Weather Service right now and see if there's still anything that they're talking about. I'm going to take a peek real quick. The Weather Service saying right now that they will still continue the tornado warning as it drifts towards the Whiteford, Cardiff community into extreme northwest Cecil County. The signature is looking a bit broader, which is good. So that's, of course, means it's lifting up a bit, but still it means that it's pretty strong. That's what they're worried about. And we will continue to see that as we get into the rest of the evening. But it could mean that it's heading into an area of less coverage, which is not good. I mean, radar coverage, that's what we mean. Because, you know, we need the radar to see exactly what's going on into the sky. I'm also putting on a new microphone right now, so if you hear things that are kind of weird at the moment, just know that I'm just getting readjusted so that you guys can all hear me at home, and I make sure that you guys all stay safe. But if you're in your safe spot, if you're in northern Harford County or northwestern Cecil County, that you're already doing what you're supposed to be doing, just stay calm. I'll stay on the air with you and make sure that everyone is safe still at home. We are continuing our severe thunderstorm warning for some of our other communities. I'll zoom back out and give you guys the bigger picture of that. We'll go back to the reflectivity product, which will tell you guys just how hard the rain is. And you can see that big polygon still over our communities. We have that severe thunderstorm warning for Harford and Cecil County until 9 o'clock this evening, a severe thunderstorm warning for Baltimore City until 8:15, portions of Baltimore County until 8:30, also Anne Arundel County until 8:15. So hopefully we'll start to see that move away. I'm also going to turn back on again our lightning spotter, because we are just seeing so much lightning moving over northern Maryland. It does look like it is starting to break up a bit as it heads towards the river where our tornado warning is located, which is really good. We want to make sure that the storm looks like it's starting to weaken, because we know once it weakens, the warning will be able to lift, but we are still having to pay attention to that in the meantime. We are getting reports, this is just over the past couple of minutes, that in Baltimore County, that we did see earlier a wind gust of 45 miles per hour was measured by one of our weather stations of MD 43 near White Marsh Boulevard and MD 150 in near Eastern Boulevard near the Chesapeake Bay. So we are seeing very gusty winds. Radar has even indicated winds at times with this system up to 80 miles per hour. That's pretty strong winds out there, ladies and gentlemen, and we likely will continue to see the system blow on through. Not seeing them as strong right now, which is good, but we are still watching our system. You can see our tornado warning with that red polygon. I know it's harder to tell because you can see the showers and storms are over that communities, which are also red because very heavy rainfall. That will go until 8:30 this evening for portions of northern Harford County and also northwestern Cecil County, just to the west of rising sun. So if you are in those communities, just know that we are watching that storm cluster, and I'm going to zoom in if you live in those areas or if you know a friend or a neighbor in those areas, that you can be able to tell them exactly what we are seeing and what they should be able to watch for. Hold on one second. I'm just going to zoom back on in. So if you know anyone in the Darlington community, again, I'm going to keep saying it. If you think I'm a broken record, well, I just want to make sure everyone's safe out there. Over Highway 1, that's where the storm is moving over. Also over 222 in Cecil County, just to the west of rising sun. Some of the roads I'm going to mention, the Susquehanna River Road, also Mount Zor Road, Red Hill Road, Reagan Road. This is all in Cecil County. If you know anyone that lives there, make sure they're careful. Also State Highway 623, US Highway 1, we keep mentioning, and Darlington Road. That's where the storm is moving, and it's bringing a lot of punch with it. We just got an update from the Weather Service. This is about another wind damage report from earlier this evening in Cockeysville. Reports of numerous trees blown down along Maryland Route 25, Falls Road near Shawan Road. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but we are continuing to see very strong winds move with this storm. If you are seeing any damage and if you can safely take a photo, of course, if you're not in the tornado warning area, then we would love to see your pictures. You can see right now, this is one of our traffic cameras. This is north of Tidings, so I-95 north of Tidings. You can see very heavy rainfall, barely any cars out on the roads. You can see those tractor trailers are driving with their hazards on, most of the cars hazards on, because they know it is stormy out there. You should be pulled over to the side of the road if you're in that community, because it is just dangerous out there. I'm sure visibility is very low. If it's hard for us to see right now, it's hard for them to see on the roads. Hopefully they all at least have a safe plan, or at least can get alerts on their phone, so if they do need to pull over, they can. But just look at all the hazards out there. It is just very heavy rainfall that continues over portions of our community, and you can see out on radar exactly what we're still watching. Northern Harford County, northern Cecil County, right over the river. That's where the tornado warning is, and we will track it. 8:30 p.m. That's when right now the Weather Service has this ending, and I will let you know as soon as it does, and we will go back to normal programming. But those who live in that community, I just want to give you the due diligence and keep you guys safe. I'm going to reset for a second. just so those who are not in that community can see what the storms are doing. I mean, we currently have severe thunderstorm warnings out in portions of Prince George's County, out one in Anne Arundel County, Baltimore City and County have just expired. Also, Anne Arundel County looks like it just expired. So we are seeing still heavy rainfall and frequent lightning, but it's not of severe criteria, which is good. It looks like also some of our severe thunderstorm warnings have been cut down, at least in portions of Harford County. But it does look like still far eastern Hartford County is still under that severe thunderstorm warning, and Cecil County along with the tornado warning. No, I just said a whole lot of stuff. You might be confused. I'm just going to say this real quick. Cecil County, eastern Hartford County, severe thunderstorm warning, northern portions of Hartford County, and northwestern Cecil County, tornado warning. That's where we could potentially be seeing a tornado on the ground. I'm going to go back to our velocity product that shows wind speed and direction, and we'll see if this storm looks like it's tightening at all. Hopefully it will be weakening so that things look to be a bit better out there. I'm going to take off the lightning so it's a little bit easier to see. Right over our Darlington community, that's where the tornado warning is. Oh, and it looks like our tornado warning has been dropped. I'm just going to read this real quick. Yep, it says the Weather Service has now canceled our tornado warning for Cecil and Hartford County. So things are at least good for right now. It does say the worst of the winds are east of the Baltimore metro, but the rotation has dissipated from this community. So if you're in Darlington, if you're rest around Rising Sun, you are welcome to get out of your safe spot, but pay attention to the radar, pay attention to weather alerts just in case. We are going to go back to programming, and I hope you guys all stay weather aware and have a safe evening.